All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to dive into a world that's all around us, but completely invisible. A world that shapes pretty much everything: the food we eat, our own health, you name it. We're talking about the science of the really small, microbiology.
So let me ask you a question. What if the most powerful life on Earth, the forces that truly shape our health, our food, and even our planet, were completely invisible to the naked eye? Well, guess what? They are. We're talking about microorganisms, and their impact is just absolutely massive.
The wild thing about this invisible world is that it kind of has a split personality. On one hand, you've got the good guys, the microbes that are essential for life. They're the ones that give us yogurt, create life-saving antibiotics, and even help clean up our environment. But then, you've got the villains, the pathogens that cause devastating diseases and make our food go bad. And this constant battle, this is what microbiologists are navigating every single day.
Okay, so let's start from square one. Let's officially meet these invisible neighbors of ours. What exactly are they, and how in the world did we figure out they even existed?
At its heart, microbiology is just the study of life that's too small to see. But we're not just talking about one type of creature here. Oh no, it's like a whole microscopic zoo full of diverse organisms. You've got bacteria, viruses, fungi, protozoa. The list goes on, and each one has its own unique role to play in the world. And when we say they're everywhere, we are not kidding. To give you some perspective, the microbial cells living in and on your body right now likely outnumber your own human cells. Let that sink in for a second. They aren't just visitors passing through. They are a fundamental part of who you are. For almost all of human history, the real cause of disease was a complete mystery. People just got sick, and nobody knew why. It took a few brilliant scientific detectives to finally crack the case and reveal the true culprits. Before we could even point the finger at germs, we had to figure out a more basic question. Where does life even come from? For centuries, people honestly believed in this idea called spontaneous generation, that life could just poof appear from non-living stuff, like maggots from meat. But then a scientist named Louis Pasteur, with some seriously clever experiments, proved that no, life only comes from pre-existing life. This concept, biogenesis, was a complete game changer. And that discovery led to the next big question. If life doesn't just pop out of nowhere, then what's making us sick? The answer was the germ theory of disease, this radical idea that tiny, specific microbes were responsible for specific illnesses. It sounds so obvious to us now, right? But back then, this was revolutionary. And it became the foundation for all of modern medicine. But how do you prove which germ is guilty? That's where another pioneer, Robert Koch, came in. He developed a brilliant set of rules, what we now call Koch's postulates, which became the official scientific method for proving a specific microbe causes a specific disease. It's this rigorous four-step process. You find the germ, you grow it all by itself, you show that it makes a healthy host sick, and then you find it again. It's basically forensics, but for germs. So, once we could identify these microbial enemies, the next big challenge was, naturally, figuring out how to control them. But here's where the story takes a fascinating twist. In learning how to fight them, we also discovered how to turn them into powerful allies. Yeah, controlling microbes is a huge deal, especially in medicine. There are two main ways we do it. Sterilization, that's the nuclear option. It annihilates everything, including the toughest little microbial survivors. Then you have disinfection. It's a little less extreme, it gets rid of most of the dangerous germs, but might leave some stragglers. Both of these are absolutely essential for stopping the spread of infection. But beyond just killing germs on surfaces, we figured out how to teach our own bodies how to fight them. And this is the magic of vaccination. By introducing a harmless piece of a pathogen, we're basically giving our immune system a training manual. We're teaching it to recognize and destroy the real enemy if it ever shows up. It's truly one of the greatest public health triumphs in all of human history. And this brings us to that major shift in the story. We moved from only fighting germs to actively studying them to improve our health. This blew the doors open for all these specialized fields, like medical microbiology, which helps doctors figure out what infection you have, and immunology, which unlocks the secrets of our own body's defenses. It's a perfect case of turning a foe into a source of incredible knowledge. And the applications go way, way beyond medicine. We use microbes to make our food safe and delicious through things like fermentation. We actually engineer them in labs to produce biofuels and life-saving drugs. And out in the environment, they're the little engines that run the planet, driving nutrient cycles and even helping us clean up pollution. They really are the ultimate multitaskers. So why does all of this matter to you? Well, this vast, invisible world also happens to offer a surprising number of opportunities to build an amazing career. And, microbiologists aren't just cooped up in a lab somewhere. They are everywhere. They're doing groundbreaking research at universities, they're on the front lines of healthcare, they're creating new things in private industry, and they're working in government to make sure we're all safe.
So what could you actually do? Well, you could be a clinical scientist, identifying the exact bug that's making someone sick. You could be a research scientist, developing the next generation of antibiotics. You could work in quality assurance, making sure our food and medicine are safe to use. You could even be a science communicator, sharing this incredible, invisible world with everyone else. The possibilities are just huge.
When you really step back and look at it, you see this incredible journey. We've gone from being absolutely terrified of an invisible world to understanding it, controlling it, and now harnessing its power. These tiny organisms have defined so much of human history, from plagues to penicillin. The only question left is, how are we going to partner with them to shape our future?